Good morning, Venerable Sirs, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege again to be standing here and having survived 3 or 4 hectic days, early mornings and late nights in Vietnam and this country. I'm sure when I get back to England it's all going to be a bit of a blur. But it's been a very unusual and interesting time. And I'm very pleased, really, that we can gather like this, that the Buddhist worldwide community can come together on these occasions and share our insights and even our problems. It's very important to be able to build a sense of unity. In Vietnam, the theme was leadership. Back in England, in the UK, later this year in June, the Theravada Buddhist Sangha, of which I'm the chairman, is holding a conference on Buddhist leadership. Leadership is much in the air at the moment because I suppose we're suffering, generally speaking, from a lack of confidence in the leadership that, generally speaking, is afforded us. We, during the time of Wesak, are of course celebrating the greatest leader that ever was. He led from the front. He knew the people he was leading. He'd been born a human being. The birth of the Buddha reminds us of that. His enlightenment reminds us that he knew the solution. He had achieved a means of solving the problem of suffering that we all have to deal with. And with his parinibbana, he demonstrated that his remedies work. He cut the round of rebirth. For him, then, there was no more suffering. I have hopes that the Buddhist world, the Buddhist community, can assume a leadership in the world. But for that to happen, we have to call upon Buddhist people to do their best to learn and to practice what the Buddha taught, to really practice it. In Vietnam, I alluded to the fact that the Buddha is often described as a great physician. And he has extraordinary remedies. The Buddha Dhamma really can solve everything for us. But you know, we all go to the doctor from time to time. We all consult physicians. And usually we're prescribed medicines. But if we bring those medicines home and simply put them on the shelf and worship them, or praise their benefits, and never take them, never apply them, then we're not going to get any better. It seems to me, I'm afraid, all too often that the Buddha's remedies are simply praised, simply described as being extraordinary phenomena, but not practiced, not applied, not taken. And I'm particularly concerned about the moralities, the practice of the precepts. We've heard over the last few days a lot of concern about things like global warming. But you know, societies, generally speaking, worldwide, are being broken by the use of drugs and alcohol. This is a colossal worldwide problem. Young people are growing up using drugs and not learning, not developing as they could. And I call upon the Buddhist community to take seriously what the Buddha had to say about this. To recognize that although, of course, people take these substances as a relief, they're no remedy, and they come easily between us and the fulfillment that we could experience. So I beg you to do your best to encourage people, your Buddhist communities, to practice what the Buddha taught, to observe those moralities, the 5 precepts, genuinely and carefully, and give the world the leadership that it so desperately requires. Thank you very much.